another Facebook product, right?
Yeah.
Expo no, but React
Expo
Native,
no.
yes.
Expo no. Expo is great. So Expo is doing well. So anyway, the gist is that is the gist. Okay.
Okay.
That is
And
the gist of the launch. It's an intent to launch. It's not launched yet, but it's going to.
okay.
It's going to happen.
I'm surprised that Vercel is sitting
Well,
on the table.
Vercel, in fact, has been driving a lot of the new development of React, and it has been part of the big frustration in that size, especially with the launch of React Server Components. So it has been the force driving a lot of the recent innovation in the space.
Yeah, let's see if they will put Next in the same foundation then. Given that is not a competitor product, it should belong to the ecosystem. Right?
Okay, I'm laughing. You know what I think, and no, I don't think that will happen. Next is totally a Vercel product. Okay? It's totally Vercel.
It looks really hypocritical though. But I mean, I couldn't expect any less from them, so it's good to have an hypocritical.
So the fundamental problem here, the biggest frustration for Next is that whenever you want to try to deploy it and move it outside of Vercel, things are very, not perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
And because it's missing, some stuff is just missing. Okay, some support is just missing. Okay.
No, it sounds very, very kind of like interesting how a foundational project, goes into the foundation, and all the surrounding one, which are commercial,
This is very typical, though, Luca.
I mean, I don't think so, but I mean, you can. I mean, you see, for example, like sure, the example is in Kubernetes, is
yes,
in
exactly.
many other products, but I never seen, for example, OpenShift, right, joining the discussion and influence on what they need when they build a complementary competitive product. That's the thing. And Amazon, that's interesting that Amazon finds time to sit in a foundation.
Depends. It surprised me. That surprised me a lot.
And there is no Microsoft this time.
No, there is Microsoft. Sorry, I read sorry. There is also Microsoft. Yes, Microsoft is listed. Amazon, ColdStack, Expo, Meta, Microsoft, Software Mansion, and Vercel.
Oh.
And there is
Software
Microsoft.
Mansions. Okay. Wow, that's a very strong representation of the React Native world.
Yes, exactly. It's very focused on React Native. To be honest, a good chunk of this is focused on React Native versus pure React.
Well, yeah, the success that React Native had was paramount, probably.
Yes. Well, I was reading recently a tweet from our friend, from Gergley, what's
Pragmatic engineer.
Pragmatic engineer. Okay. Yeah. That was listing that the native mobile developers' role are going extinct. So,
well, but I mean, React Native saw an immense amount of development, right? I mean, it started really to replace the let's say the boilerplate and forms and all the static UIs, but then it turned very, very fast into a strong kind of like runtime, right? If you think about the progress in integrating with the Skia, the refactoring of the engine, well, this is already the third refactor of the.
I've also heard, yes, exactly. Well, it's, I don't know, infinite refactors. Okay. I've also heard that we'll go to 1.0 soonish.
I don't know. It's 0.70 now, no? 68. Well, the last one was 68 with the flag from last summer. So I think it's Well, it's time, right? That it goes to 1.0. It's almost 10 years that,
Yeah,
actually, it's 10 years that React Natives fluctuates around. So,
I've heard that is going to 1.0 at some point. It's 82 now, Luca.
82. So because yeah,
82.
in August it was 68, right? When there was the release of the new engine. Uh, well, of the new engine is a completely new architecture, right? They change from the bridge to have a native.
No, Luca, you're wrong. It's 80. They're still in the 80 range in last summer.
Oh, I remember that it was
Yeah.
something like
No,
that.
there was a big launch, but in it's yeah, there is what's the name? 77 went out of support in July 21st.
Oh, then I lost track of the versions, but
Yeah, but everybody does. Like, look, I like whenever I was doing organizing project, I was always saying to everybody that if they wanted to use React Native, they would have needed, you know, to never stop updating the app because otherwise they will need to throw it away and
well,
rebuild it from scratch in a few if they didn't keep up with the changes in the lab in the framework. So
that was the biggest. I think was the biggest problem of React Native and all its dependencies was you miss like one version
yes,
and it's gonna take you forever to update. If
yeah.
not, actually having to rebuild half of the code that you wrote, which is kind of like stupid, but
Well, it was the biggest problem. So I don't know. Anyway, this is phenomenal. Okay. And then there is the new architecture.
yeah, the
Yeah.
C++ layer.
Yeah. The new C layer, but also Hermes. Come on.
No, but that was already is vintage, the
Yep.
Hermes architecture. Um, yeah, it's kind of like interesting that they needed to kind of like rebuild once again. But I think it was completely necessary. The marshalling of types was brutal between the two spaces. Uh, and once again, I think the great work was done by uh, Shopify, sponsoring the majority of the new development. In Shopify, React Native is basically kind of at the core. And plus, there is this Polish company. They are phenomenal. They built a Reanimator. It's already kind of like a little bit old, but kind of like massive project in terms of like building animations and stackable animations. And then uh, oh my God, William Candilian, I think is his name, from
Mm-hmm.
Zurich, a brilliant mind in the world of React Native. He's the guy that actually was sponsored by Shopify to do the Skia
Wow.
prototype. He's phenomenal. He's literally kind of like probably by far the best React Native uh, core developer around. Uh, and plenty of other, right? Amazon doesn't surprise me that is involved in React Native because most of their applications are all React Native. And yeah, I know this guy from Amsterdam, Mogram. He built like the oh my God, the bottom menu, the bottom sheet. And now, if you see, is actually the new native UI in iOS. So it's kind of interesting to see how somebody could kind of like already think ahead. But yeah, but exactly what does this foundation mean for the project? Because like now we have
So, so the
a
key question
structure.
here is we don't have. Okay, it's an intent to create. This means it's a process based on past experience with the Linux, the Node Foundation, OpenJS Foundation. It's a year long thingy. Okay, including IP transfers. It's a long process. Okay, you need to incorporate the new thing, put money in the new thing, transfer the IP in the new thing, and then create all the governance around it. Now, when is a foundation needed? Okay, or when is you need essentially a cross-vendor thing needed. Okay. Now the fundamental point is being cross-vendor. Okay. The React is becoming too big to serve only the Facebook needs, to serve only Meta needs. Okay. If that's the key problem. Okay. The key problem is the community needs a much better, faster, bigger React with new feature, new optimizations, a new direction. Okay, certain things. Okay, and my educated guess, okay, is that Meta focus at this point is by far not in React. Like they need to maintain it, they need to keep existing. It's just a drop in their budget, okay? But it's totally not in the focus of. It's not it's there, it's working, okay? It needs to keep going, okay? But they're not planning to invest in it massively further, okay, on the evolution of the situation. Or at least this is my read. The major focus on Meta so far is on AI. Is out of everybody to see this. So at least this is my view of what's happening. So because of this, a lot to be honest, it's not just completely true. They've been spending a lot of effort, for example, in the React compiler. Okay. Mm-hmm. Which is a great idea, by the way. We need to expand on this because I think it's phenomenal. Okay. But they've been doing things, okay, but they are incremental improvements, not new radical ideas, new things that are going to massively improve everything, okay? Now, let's talk a little bit about React Compiler, okay? React Compiler is a great idea, okay? It basically take a lot of the boilerplates that people will need to do for implementing memoization in components, and just make it go away. No need. The compiler will do it for you. Okay. Personally, I think it's going to be massively more. It could be massively. It could improve significantly more. Because if we start optimizing for servers and doing a lot of server-driven optimization, I think it's massive potential.
In what sense? For server-side rendering?
Yes, I think it has massive potential to that kind of analysis, okay? If I could, okay, I am looking at your components and said, okay, all of these is the same, then I could essentially have this chunk of HTML already rendered and just replace what's needed.
It's kind of funny that there is so much effort. There is an immense amount of effort in optimizing for the probably front end or the macro architecture, but we haven't really focused on solving the existential problem that is more than 10 years that is there, that is server-side rendering.
Oh, it's never but this is part of the problem, right? Because Facebook do not use JavaScript on the server to do that step. It's mostly either mobile apps or web apps. Okay, they don't do much of server-side rendering. Because they don't do much server-side rendering, that stuff was never on the never planned to be optimized in any form or fashion. Okay. And by the way, it's possible to optimize it, to be honest. So.
Yeah, but I don't think the default is the default. I mean, I don't think everything is on Facebook back.
Well, no, to be honest, it's a company. It's not their fault. It's a company. It's their product. They work on what cares to them.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great that they are opening the project to the foundation, but it was not their duty to do that. They did it just as a favor.
No, absolutely, it was not their duty. Absolutely, it's great. It's a great news. It was totally not their duty. I'm just reflecting the problem of why this was never optimized. Okay, and it's not out of skills or will. Okay, it's
But
little.
Vercel, for example, it's an open source project. They also didn't optimize for publicly for everyone. It's in their own platform.
No. But that's different.
Why?
Well, okay.
Where is different?
No, it's different. Okay, it's different because I have never seen a company selling compute
Doesn't
doing
matter. No, it doesn't
significant
matter. But doesn't
optimization
matter.
work. Sorry.
Yeah, but doesn't really matter. It's both they run an open source project, right? Both they run a project that is massively used. Both they are
Yes.
company for profit. What the nature of their business is irrelevant for the humanity. It's just that I think the problem is that everyone is chasing that holy grail of server-side rendering, and then it's not just on Facebook. Maybe they have it. They just didn't want to open source it. They said it's just our own technology.
Yeah.
The same as Vercel did, by the way. Right. Same thing as I didn't see really Remix doing that.
They never fixed the React server side render in any form or fashion.
Right. So it's not a problem of React. It's a
The
problem
only
of
one that
this.
fixed worked very well on server side rendering is solid, and that actually did. It's not React based, but it's still JSX based, and they use a different compiler for JSX, which makes it significantly faster on.
Yeah,
on
no, but
server-side.
what I mean is that I don't think it's really Facebook there. It's just like that the industry keeps private what is the most valuable thing.
Yeah, I don't think it's there. I don't think it's just not possible right now with React to optimize it to a level that would be drastically faster than what is there right now. So I don't think there's a secret sauce somebody's keeping in the closet. To be honest, Luca, I think it's just not. It's just not there.
Well, I cannot. I don't know because I don't have access to
Yeah.
the Git, the meta Git, so I don't know what they're working on. But to me, it's kind of like interesting to see. I mean, I would be very curious to see how the foundation will handle all those existential problem.
Yes.
That you know, I'm wondering how Vercel will actually contribute to that, given that once that the sauce is out, part of their beautiful
I
proposition
don't
is
think
gone.
so. I don't think so. I think they are very. So far, they are under a significant enough pressure to optimize their system, and they finally swinging around and started to do the work. Okay. Also, they are accepting Cloudflare contributions for optimizing Next.js. So now their Next.js is being optimized by Cloudflare, which is I've seen a few
Well, but
PRs
they
being
could
floating around.
never block contributions, right?
No, they totally can. They totally can. They just don't lend them.
Sure, but as a front facing, as a reputation kind of like point, you would kind of like put them on the back compared to React. They would play the same game. So I think there are multiple games, right? When we look at open sourcing and foundation and so on, and it's kind of interesting to see how it's going to unpack. I'm curious why then Cloudflare is not there. Do you know
This
by any
is
chance?
an interesting point. I have no idea. This will be phenomenally interesting. No idea.
Because considering that Cloudflare is very blonde and open, that Cloudflare and Vercel are fighting for the edge space, it would be very, very interesting to see how it would be super interesting to see how actually Cloudflare will play the game in the React space. Because they can take basically the market there, right?
Yep.
So, but so apart all the political interesting bits that keeps people busy doing something of foundations, uh, what is actually really new about this compiler? What are the big advantages of the new version of React? How do you see actually this new phase of React being impactful for
I,
the technology ecosystem?
to be honest, the biggest one is, as I said, so the optimization that they shipped removed the need to implement useMemo and do memoization of components. These make it extremely useful to avoid re-render and massively optimize performance of on the front end at scale. Okay, yeah, imagine having a 10,000 components. Okay, it's to write. You know, it's these are a nice example in the React compiler docs that shows before and after, and it's just okay. You know, it just remove a concern that a developer needs to care about.
Yeah.
So,
But in terms of like looking at I mean, in general, okay, apart from memoization, where do you see actually going this whole initiative?
well, I don't know. Like, I don't see the many plans right now. I hope they will go in fixing React server side rendering. To be honest, this will be my um,
And but if you look at the generic kind of like life cycle of React and
mhm.
what things are happening, right? We see, for example, the new version of the of React Native, right, with the new architecture is a purely structural but also optimization driven, right? So
Yes.
just in React, there were a lot of structural kind of like death that they were carried right over in terms of like architectural choices and also learnings, right, from years and millions of people using it and websites powering it at scale.
Hmm.
So, what do you think is going to be the new phase for React? Right, if we look at it now, React has been going through a phase of optimization, and now with the foundation, clearly there will be also stabilization because there is governance.
Yes.
Do you?
For me, I think what will happen is that more vendors will start driving new optimizations and new use cases for React, and making lives even simpler for developers. Okay, like the React essentially won because um, it becomes a standard of writing front ends. Okay, and writing reusable components. It's great. Okay, to be honest.
But in the world, for example, of micro front ends, where you can mix and match.
This, Luca, you are opening a can of worm. Like the fundamental problem here, if a company today uses React, chooses React or Next.js for their project, okay, they do that choice to for essentially recruiting needs. Okay, I know I can source a React developer relatively on the cheap. Okay,
Mhm.
and they will do a decent enough job in my code base. So that's the reason. Okay. Now there are phenomenal React developers. Okay, I'm talking about
The average enterprise reach, right?
the average enterprise company. Is not a boutique shop choice. Okay, it's
Mhm.
the you know, our company with 1,000 developers make those choices is different than a company of 10 makes technology choices. Okay, and you can go wrong. Like we are at a point that React is more or less on the same realm of Java for different reason. For not Java probably, but you know, for Spring. Okay, you use Spring on with Java because everybody knows how to use Spring. Okay.
But kind of like provocative question: if a company goes away from Next.js, no, let me start with another thing. So we said that Next is basically React with some steroids.
Next is React is, well, more than I would say that React is more of a library and Next.js is the full package.
Okay, let's say Next is a framework.
Yeah.
React is a library.
Yes.
Why people that are living Next don't go to React but they go to Remix, for example?
Because because they React does not do, like, there is a certain huge amount of, so first of all, okay, Remix now is React router, blah blah blah, so whatever. Okay, anyway, they're going to that choice, okay, because it's because typically they want to self-host, okay, and it's much simpler to self-host other frameworks than Next. But React is not a choice. Just using plain React is not a choice, because the amount of boilerplate and frame, like, you need to essentially reinvent, I don't know, at least 80% of what Next is doing. And you might as well just use Remix, essentially.
So do you see in the future all these projects to converge into a more kind of like universal React initiative?
No.
So do you see then the project
The
evolving?
foundation provide a vendor neutral place where they can innovate together, essentially.
No, sure. It's kind of like, I mean, but in terms of like evolution of the project, right? In this, following this kind of like foundational optimization or foundational era, do you see the future to be a project that evolves towards the direction of all these satellite projects like Remix, like Next, and absorb them into the evolution of React? Because now that the contributions are open, right? Now that there is not a single benevolent dictator in the project, right? Can what sounds to me more logical is that everyone will try to take bits and pieces from any other project and converge them into React.
We'll see if that happens.
Because it's kind of interesting, right? The choice of having a foundation when the ecosystem is already evolved in so many ramifications. Completely different
it's
than
actually no. I think it's actually the only good choice, because if they didn't do this, they will keep straining the relationships between the various frameworks. So they needed a neutral place where to handle some sort of open governance, so that those various meta frameworks that are using React would work together.
Yeah. I'm curious to see how React will evolve in version 20, for example. What will be the new feature that
I
is going
think
to be
20 will still be okay. I am interested for 21.
21. Let's see whatever version is going to come.
Yeah.
I'm very curious to see what's going to happen. What kind of feature is going to be borrowed by other framework and put into the main project. Because I think that's going to be the natural evolution of what's going to happen. The consolidation of the ecosystem, or else it's going to be too fragmented, right?
Yeah.
And then there is no value for companies, right? Companies are seeking for enterprises seeking for a Switzerland of technology. They want to have something that is regulated, that is kind of like neutral, but at the same time gives comfort that a new war doesn't start there.
Yeah.
Right? Because everyone has been marked by the initial storm that Node brought to the modern technology world, right? With different attempt of jailbreak, and then at the end of the day, back to jail. But that's probably for a different conversation. Yeah, I think we unpacked this new area of React. And
we did, Luca. We did. We covered everything we wanted to cover.
And a little
So
bit of provocative thing. Let's see if our friends at Versalde will reply to that, maybe with their point of view. Anyhow, so I think we are on time. Our usual 35 minutes. So let's meet next week. Same time, same place, but a new topic. Ciao,
yay!
everyone.
Ciao.